Now we travel across the Atlantic to Edinburgh, Scotland, and Cliff Richard.
Thank you very much. I've been reminded today at a time with the press that my relationship with the Billy Graham team goes back right until 1966. And it goes to show how long ago it was, because Dr. Graham wrote and said, would I appear on one of his youth nights? Those days are kind of far behind me, but I look back with great pleasure and have always considered it a privilege to participate in these functions. Scotland, thank you for welcoming us here. I stand before you in a certain amount of fear and trepidation. I have never, ever found it easy to do these things because I feel, I suppose in a way, under-rehearsed when I go on a concert tour. We spend 5, maybe 6 weeks rehearsing Summer Holiday. And when I do these things, I'm more aware that when we're invited, as Cliff Barrows has just introduced me, we're invited to be witnesses to a character called Jesus, to a God. If you don't believe in him, it's just possible there might be one, I suppose, in your mind. And if there was one, he's the God that created the universe, not just Scotland. I mean, I find it rather enormous. The whole task seems rather enormous, and I feel kind of humbled in respect of that. But all I know is I can only share what is real for me. And way back in 1964, I came to the conclusion that Christianity had so much to offer because of one major factor, really. The thing that struck me when I first looked into Christianity was the historical fact of Jesus. You know, nobody can say that Christianity is a step of blind faith. A friend of mine once said that you can become a Christian, but you do not have to commit intellectual suicide. You can read about Jesus. You can read about the faith. He is a part of history, and I think God was really clever because he gave us a tangible fact of history that no one can dispute. There he was, 2,000 years ago, a man like the rest of us, but somehow very specially different. And I think it's because of that fact that people like myself pluck up the nerve to face people like yourselves with a faith like ours. Because there's no way I could stand here 25, 26 years ago. I would have been far too terrified to talk about something that may or may not be true. The only reason why I'm happy to accept is that for my own sake, I am convinced that Jesus does exist. Not just did exist, but does exist. Because the minute you face the fact that he was an historical character, you are then left with the problems that follow. I.e., was he the person he claimed to be? What about all the people that said he was this amazing, fantastic Son of God? And if all those things start falling into place, surely, as in my case, you must find yourself thinking, well, I have to respond in some way or the other. I have to either say, yes, I believe him, or no, I don't. And, I mean, both of those responses are valid. You don't have to accept the fact that Jesus exists. I did. And I've never, ever looked back. And I can only commend him to you because I know that it's made a drastic, drastic change in my life. And I'm truly grateful that Jesus was flesh and blood.